Hey guys, welcome to the RoundTable. This is episode 88. I'm Jenny Walker, the social media ministry here at Life Church. I messed my thing up. I don't think anybody would have known if I just wouldn't have said anything.
If you just would have kept going.
I know, but I can't not make my mess ups aware. I don't know why I have to call them out.
Authentic.
Is that it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I just think it's like my awkwardness. But hey, it's me. And over here is Mike Hill, our pastor. And then we have two guests today. It is Richie and Jess Ulery. Ulery.
Yeah, just don't say their last name.
Yeah. I shouldn't.
Richie Jess.
That really messes me up. Ulery, Ulery.
Everyone mispronounces it and misspells it. It's fine.
Oh, I know. I did misspell it.
Yeah.
All right, here's your question for the day. Are you ready?
Yes.
Your favorite childhood memory?
Oh, gosh. I'm not good with memories.
Why? You don't have a memory?
No, I mean, I can't really think of them. I don't know.
So mine is going to seem a little weird.
That's the best way to start out.
My favorite memory is when I was out playing golf in my yard in Rochester, and my little brother, I was only 8.
You're from Rochester?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Rochester, Indiana.
Oh, gosh.
Born and raised.
Okay.
So great out there.
You went to that high school?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we have to talk.
We have to talk. We're talking right now.
What are we talking?
I just know somebody there, and it would just be really weird if you knew him.
I don't know everyone in Rochester, though.
But you went to school there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how old are you?
29.
Exactly. He would know him.
He would?
Yeah. But anyways.
So anyway, we were playing golf out at my house, and my brother, who was 2 years younger than me, 6 years old, he was just running around me while I was swinging a 5-iron, just as hard as I could at the ground. And I kept yelling 4. And one of the times I yelled 4, and he did not step back, and I clocked him clean around the ear, and I cut him up hard. It was bad, but it was so funny because I was just I just ran into the house. I was like, I yelled 4, pleading just not to.
What's the age difference between
2
you?
years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Younger?
Younger.
He didn't get out of the way he deserved.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Younger.
That's what my dad always said. If an animal stands in the road, they want to die.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not true. You swerve for all of them.
Huh?
No.
You swerve.
No.
Yes, I do.
Good for you. I'm sorry.
I like Richie better and better
I know.
every day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Jess, you have a childhood memory?
Oh, I was trying to think.
I know
It doesn't have to be childhood. It can be high school. I mean, yeah.
I know.
I don't know. I've got a big family, so we're always up to something, I
You
feel
do
like.
have a big family.
So, yeah.
I can't think of one either.
I don't know. I mean, we spent a lot of time outside, so we would go hiking out at Salamone a lot, fishing.
Oh, so you're a hiker.
Not so much anymore.
Okay.
I like it. I just don't do it as much, but
Okay. But you love the outdoors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. Once spring comes, almost every weekend we're out fishing.
Oh, Judas.
So.
I'm so sick of the weather right now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Apparently somewhere I read it was 29 consecutive days of no sun.
Today had sun.
Today is sun, and for the rest of the week will be sun.
No.
I did see that.
No, it's I think there's something about when you don't see the sun. It's super.
Yes, it's seasonal depression. My doctor told me yesterday, actually, that 80% of people in Indiana suffer from seasonal depression in some sort of way, whether it be mild or severe.
Okay, no memory, Jenny.
Interesting.
Nothing.
I mean, the one that I can think of that comes to my head is when I got my first golden retriever. And I don't know if I really remember this or if I just remember seeing the home videos of it. But when I was I think it was when I was either 3 or 4, he was a puppy. His name was Indy because we were going to move to Colorado at the time. And so we wanted to name him Indy to remember Indiana. Dumb. Anyways, and he was chasing me around and I was running, screaming, scared of him apparently. And everybody was just dying laughing, and it's all on video.
Why were you going to Colorado?
We were going to move there.
Well,
we have family out there.
Oh.
And also I don't really know. I should probably ask questions.
Yeah. No, I was just curious.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mine is buying a Chevelle when I was 14.
Whoa.
And 14, 15, I spent 2 years restoring it, and I can remember when I finally got it done and drove it for the first time. Because back then, when you're 16 years old, you can get your license right when you turn 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
way
can?
back in the day. I mean,
Wait, you can't now? I was being
No,
sarcastic.
You have to
Like
do a
6 months
permit,
or
and then when you
something?
get your license,
Oh.
you have to wait like a year and a half or something.
You do
before
now?
you can drive by
It
yourself.
depends if you take driver's ed now
Oh,
too.
okay.
but
yeah,
even
yeah.
if you take driver's ed, you still have to wait 6 months, right? You,
I
you
think
so.
can't
What?
never
It's a
get
lesson
your
term.
license on your 16th birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Or
don't
something like
remember that.
Oh, that's how it all. I don't remember really well.
But
from a
back
kid.
then, you were able to get it
So as soon as you
immediately.
turn 16, you just get your license.
Do you have to take a test still?
Back then,
Yeah. You didn't go to the BMV?
I don't know. That's been a while.
That would be a good thing to
I'm gonna be
ask.
turning
yeah.
50 this month, so that's been a while.
Well,
ago.
I mean, yeah. What about Nick? Huh? What's Nick's favorite childhood memory?
Nick doesn't even have a mic. He's not prepared.
What? Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
you know what? Anytime you kind of yell from the background, I can
You
hear
can
Yeah,
hear,
usually.
I'm pretty loud.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
I wasn't even thinking of one.
I know.
Yeah,
It's a hard question.
Why is memories a hard question?
I just can't think I don't know, man.
Huh?
I can't think off the top of my head. Like way back when.
Well, how about this? If you had any amount of money, what would you do?
Pay off I'd pay off my house.
You would?
Don't care.
Oh,
You bought the boat.
Yeah.
That boat costs less than my house.
So pay off debt.
Yeah, I would pay it all off because then like we would just continue to work and we'd be like
Really?
everything would be like it's an extra like you got to think it's an extra mortgage payment that you don't have to pay into something.
I know, but you would still work getting all that money.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would be vacationing, backpacking in Europe.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. Yes. Oh, my dogs.
It wouldn't last.
Yeah, I
like
don't
you
know.
wouldn't
That's
last
true.
like just jacking around.
That's
don't
true.
think.
And my dogs couldn't come.
Huh?
My dogs couldn't come.
I mean,
I would not put them on an airplane.
I'm sure you could take
In the
them.
cabin?
Yeah, you
Or
could
no,
just
not the
drug them
cabin.
like all the other
Underneath
people that take
luggage.
them.
Oh, heck no.
Yeah. So let's get to know you guys.
That was rude.
Well,
was
no, I'm
rude.
just saying. I mean, we're
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
because we don't have any like awesome like if you had all the money in the world other than paying off debt. You
I
know,
mean, mine was pretty awesome, but whatever.
backpacking around Europe,
That would be amazing.
you would never work again.
Ever.
If I couldn't, if I
Would
was
you get a mail order husband?
a mail ordered.
I mean, haven't you ever heard of that?
No,
Like when
I've
we
never
would
heard
go
of
over to
that.
the Ukraine, it was funny because there were Americans that would go over there because they're getting mail order brides.
What?
Yep.
You've never heard of that
No.
before?
So
Yeah,
they're
like you're-
buying their bride?
Like they call it mail order, but it's like a Russian, Ukrainian
Yeah.
No.
woman that you're over
Order.
there and you essentially bought
like
her
a
and she's like,
catalog
I'm
ordering.
good. I'll marry you.
Thing. It's very
No.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
No.
weird. It's catalog ordering, like, something
Yeah. It sounds like something else I know.
Yeah, you wouldn't be like trying to find a husband in Russia and
No.
huh? It
Like
would
for
go
me
with
to
your-
buy them?
It would go with your Scandinavian look.
That's very true.
You know,
very
you
true. I feel
find
like-
you find a big Russian guy, you know, go with your Scandinavian
Yeah.
Viking look, like you'd make a good couple.
Okay.
Just saying.
Well,
That was the weirdest compliment I've ever heard.
But she looks
was.
like a Scandinavian
no, that
Viking
I would
woman.
be a Russian. I don't know that I would want
You
to
don't
marry
think she
a
looks
Russian.
like a Viking woman?
I mean, I could see it. Yeah.
Whatever.
Put a helmet on with some horns.
Yes.
I think we're good.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, she's got the light hair, light skin.
Okay, but what do Russian
She's
men look
bigger.
like?
Huh?
What do Russian men look like?
Vladimir Putin.
No.
What do you mean, what?
I feel like, wouldn't that be like bad to marry a Russian right now because of everything that's going on?
Would it be bad?
yeah.
You could marry, what do they call them? Oligarchs? Or,
Oligarchs. Yeah.
these
that are in the
like-
government.
Yeah,
As
they-
long
And they're
as-
better?
They got all kinds of money.
Well, as long as they don't cross Putin, they're usually fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just saying. They might be able to take you backpacking around Europe.
They would. They would know all the great spots.
They would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Just saying.
Get me out of the war zones.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about you guys. So individually, together as a couple, what do you love to do? What are you passionate about?
Okay. Jesse, take it away.
Oh, we can call her Jessie.
Oh, yeah. Jesse, Jess. I
I'm
call
going
her
with
Jesse all the
Jesse.
time.
Yeah.
Jesse.
I like
It rolls
Jesse.
off
I
the
do like
tongues.
Jesse.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the more
Yeah.
common.
Because it's
Really?
like,
My
you would
family
say,
calls
what's
me
up, Jess? But now it's like, hey, Jesse, how's it going? It's
very more personal. It's
Like
personal.
Jesse. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Personal. I think Jess is personal too. For me, because my name's Jennifer, and if people call me Jen, like they're personal.
I didn't know that either.
You're being sarcastic.
I thought your name was Jenny.
What? What do you mean? Are you guys being
I'm being
sarcastic?
for serious.
You're not.
I had no idea that your name was Jennifer.
I mean, that's a given.
Why is that a given?
What do you mean?
Yeah, there are people named
Jennifer
Jenny.
and Jenny. Like Jennifer Eller goes by. She's gone by
Goes by
Jenny.
Jennifer.
She has gone by Jenny.
Never.
Yes, she
When
has.
she was a cheerleader in high school.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
No.
You really didn't know?
No, I thought your name was Jenny.
I can show you my social security.
I don't do that.
Actually, I don't even know. I don't even know where that's at.
Here, take a second. Let me put my social security number out there so people can see
People
it.
do not want my social security.
No.
I'm not worried about that.
So, Jesse, take it away. Tell us about you. What are you passionate about? What's going on in life right now?
Yeah. Passionate about, I would say, family. I mean, I spend a lot of my time with my family, like Noah and Richie, but also my sisters and parents. And
How long have you guys been married?
it'll be 9 years in May.
Wow.
9 years.
Should have waited and let
Nope.
you.
Nope, that's fine. I would have been right. I would have said 8, 9 in May. I would have been fine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so when you talk about like doing a lot of stuff with your family, is that the majority of your, I shouldn't say this the right way, but is that like your friend group too? Like your family is who you do most things with?
Yeah.
I think that's
For the most
amazing.
part, yeah.
Is that what you would want?
Yes, a big family.
Yeah.
To marry
be able
into.
just-
Oh, absolutely.
Big family of 7 girls.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Seven
they're
girls
different.
in one house?
Yeah. Remember?
Oh, I thought I was going to die with 4 of them in there.
Yeah.
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 Well, they weren't all in there at the same time, though, right? Because I
No.
remember your parents saying
Wasn't there
that.
one moment there were 6 of you in the house at one time? Yeah, there was.
Yeah, when they're like, but not the sisters who are all the sisters now.
Oh,
Like Bella and Abby were there, and then we had some other foster kids.
yeah, that's true.
Do you guys do like game nights and stuff? Or what do you do when you hang out?
A lot of it is going over to my parents for dinner.
How often do you do that? Is it like every day?
Probably at least 3 times a week.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
If not more
That's what I
sometimes.
want. That's what
Yeah.
we used to do at my grandma's. That we would always go over there like at least one day a week, but like everybody. And that was just amazing.
Yeah.
We always go over there because they have the bigger table and they need it. Because once we have everyone in there, including brothers and brother-in-laws and everything, it's like there's no space.
Yeah.
Oh, I
There's
bet.
no space.
We're
And
running out of room.
it's crazy because, big family. I came from literally a family of 4.
Oh,
and
wow.
so when you actually get into or acclimated to a big family, you're like, okay, everyone's having their own conversation and I can focus on like 2 people and talk to them and it doesn't bother you anymore. It's life-changing.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Life-changing.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
Which is funny when you say, well, I came from a family of 4, because anymore, I mean, people just aren't even having more than 1 or 2
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of having a big family or having a lot of kids doesn't seem near as well. I mean, people aren't doing it anymore.
Why? Why do you think that is?
It costs a lot to raise a kid.
Really? You think that's it?
Yeah. That in the world just tells you that, kids hold you back.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I would think that like their people are waiting longer because they want to do
Yeah.
more. And then I think they're having less because, again, I just think the world becomes more selfish.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's a big value system on family anymore anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Doing stuff together. As
Yeah,
a
so like
family.
when you hear stories like that, like that's amazing.
Yeah.
And for you, like you can feel like completely family when you go over there.
Yeah, it took me a while.
Really?
Oh yeah, like the very
Really?
first, like getting to know them and everything. Like it was a very interesting story. So
Why?
the first,
Okay,
Why?
go on. Yes, just go on. You're gonna tell it.
yeah. So like the first time I went over there, like I was like genuinely very nice. Like I tried my best to be as like cordial and everything as possible. And the very first thing I asked for is a glass of water, and I get dish soap, and I drink it, and I was like, man, this tastes terrible. But I don't want to tell the family that their water's terrible.
I remember
so
this story.
I drank the whole thing, not thinking twice about it.
You mean they put dish soap on purpose?
Not on purpose.
Not on
no.
purpose. It was one of her sisters, and they were cleaning dishes, and they were like, "Oh, this is clean," and just filled it up for me, not thinking twice. And
Oh, I thought it was on purpose when you told me that story one time.
she likes to claim she did it on purpose, but she didn't.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So like the way that your family interacted with you compared to her family interaction, is there
Yeah,
difference?
my family never sat around a table and had dinner
Really?
together. Not very often. No, we were very like, here's dinner, go to your own corner of the house and, eat. And like, we'll say hi to each other in passing.
Wow.
And then I come over to here and I'm like, there's a lot of conversations happening, like what's going on. Like I'm getting a headache. It took me like 2 years to get over that.
Wow.
It's just a completely different mind shift of how family's supposed to be.
In which way would you like, not like saying one or the other is wrong, but like now that you've acclimated to that, like, was it better than like what it was before? Would you rather have that for like your family?
Oh yeah. I can't see it any other way
Yeah.
at the moment. Yeah.
That's what
It's funny how it's so different because that's when like I grew up in a family where you don't really hug, you don't really show affection. And then like I started dating Sherry. I met her aunt, Moose. And Moose comes up.
Moose. Her aunt's name was Moose.
No, what's her real name?
Probably just.
Oh, but that was just a nickname?
Yeah.
Okay,
call
but
her
why?
Moose.
Why?
I don't know.
You don't even know the story?
No, I mean,
That'd be
they just,
interesting.
Yeah, they call her Moose, and she go up there, and she's like, "Oh, you are so cute." And she's like, grabs my face, kisses me on the lips, and smacks me on the butt.
No.
She's like, "Sherry, you did so good." He's so.
Oof.
Wait,
I'm
you were
like,
young. How old were you? You were underage. You were, because that would have been like 16, 17, right?
Yeah.
That's disturbing.
Oh my
Her
god.
family like that. I
That's
mean,
hilarious.
Hug, kiss.
Wow.
And to this day, again, I never thought anything of it because it's what then
Right.
we've always done with our family. So now I marry Sarah. She comes to our family get-togethers. So you never leave. So if there's 8 of us with all of our spouses
You have
and
to
the
hug.
kids,
And a kiss?
all the kids, like
On the
you,
lips?
you don't you don't
Okay.
leave without giving a hug.
Yeah.
So if it's
Right.
time to go, poor Sarah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that to go through 16 people and grandkids
Yeah.
and getting hugs when that wasn't like,
And she never did that? Wow.
no. So it's like a big shift.
Does your family hug every time?
Some of us.
Yeah.
I'd say the
Yeah.
girls more than,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's always love you, bye,
Yeah.
So
It's the Midwestern bye where you start at the table and you slowly work your way to
Yes.
the door, and then they hold the door open for you. You're
And
still
you're
there
still
for 15
saying,
minutes.
yes.
It
It takes forever to leave.
yeah.
Why? Why is that? Just leave.
I have no idea.
Just leave.
Just,
That'd be
yeah,
rude.
why
Just
is
get
it-
out of here.
Well, why does it
Get outta
take so
here.
long?
I've tried to do that, and Jessica yelled at me for it. I was like, honey, I'm leaving. I start the car, and I start backing up as
wait,
she's
you-
in the middle of her goodbye. I'm like, I'm leaving.
You didn't even say finish your goodbyes?
No, I said bye. Put my hand up.
Oh,
and-
to everybody, like all in
yeah,
general?
this was, when
Back
in
in
my
the day.
house, when you said bye, I'm leaving, and you left.
Oh, wow.
Like, there wasn't any, where are you going? All that
How
stuff.
nice.
It sure.
No, that's
for a
nice.
kid, it was nice. Yeah, for a
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so Richie, tell us a little bit about you. What do you love? What are you passionate about?
Well, I'm passionate about money, which is more of like, wow, that sounds really terrible. I'm passionate about like personal finance. So getting people on track about how to budget, how to, like just look at money differently than the way they currently look at it. It's not like a stressor. It's more of like a gift or tool that God's given you. That's what I really love. And then I do accounting and financial analytics for what used to be Killam, is now saying some metal products.
New
So,
job.
New
you
job.
just got that job.
Yep, just
Yeah.
started.
Holy
this
Kellum's
year.
not there anymore?
No, they got bought out.
So that's why we don't get yelled at for parking over there?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it used to
I was
be.
wondering.
So it used to be
Right.
like if we pulled in on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like,
Even on a Sunday, they didn't work on Sundays. That's
didn't
what I
matter.
thought.
no, they had the chains up, and they would come out. They would actually
Oh.
come out and be like,
Wow.
"Get out."
I do remember that, but I just thought that it was Sunday and they weren't open. But
Yeah.
now that you say that, I haven't seen the chains.
Oh, they're
They're
still, there.
Oh, they
but there's
are?
not somebody sitting in the office waiting to come out and tell us.
That is
Yeah.
so
Like,
like
funny.
during church, we had somebody from Kellum come into the church and say,
I remember
there are
Courtney
people
telling me that.
parked over there.
Gosh.
You need to get out."
That is ridiculous.
But again,
Yeah.
I mean, it's our parking lot,
Right,
you know,
true.
I mean, it's
But I mean, now we really need it. Like, we do.
Yeah.
No,
Parking
I'm-
is
Have
crazy.
you have not
Yeah.
seen the parking after like in between first and second service?
It's
no,
rough.
I've not seen the parking ever.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
rough.
man. It's insane.
It's full.
Yeah.
It is insane. One time I
Yeah.
almost got like backed in because I went down like towards the wall, I guess. I'm not going to be able to describe it. Just never mind.
That was
Just
what I
ignore
said.
what I'm going to try to
Should really
say.
start a carpool club and just have like 6 families come together in
Yes.
one carpool.
We're going to need
Cut
it.
down on traffic.
We're going to
So
need
what
it.
gave you a passion for finance?
I grew up in a family where money was always fought over.
Okay.
And it was
Wow.
always like, we never have enough. You can never do anything. But my mom would always go into further debt to put us in things that we wanted to try.
Okay.
And now I see the financial mess that is. And I will not ever put my family through it like that ever. So that's what really like, I don't know, lit me off about that. So.
And again, you did like took that passion when you were in high school, or did it develop?
No,
later in life?
it developed like because being the oldest in my small family, like my mom poured a lot of stuff, like family stuff onto me because we didn't really talk as a family. So her outlet to get out her thoughts and feelings were whoever's sitting in front of her, and it just so happened to be me a lot. So she poured a lot of that, like how much debt there was, how much problems there are, what's going on in people's lives. And it's like, okay, I don't like this and I don't really care. And so, yeah, that was rough.
So where did your dad, I mean, was your dad ever play a part in like, hey, like you're working and let me help you through budget? Like,
no, my dad was very passive.
Okay.
He like let us, like once we got out of like diapers and we were like toddlers out of that stage, he kind of like worked and he would come home and sit at the table and read newspapers, do puzzles, but he was very like, not involved. He got more involved near like my brother's end of high school while I was already in college, and he got more involved with Noah's games and stuff. And then he passed away. But yeah.
Like, did he expect it or?
No, it was like, well, yeah, I kind of knew it was coming because he was one of those old farm boys, you know what I mean? Doesn't think hospitals know what they're doing. Like,
I agree.
Well, yes.
Broke his hip. No, like he fell in his garage and broke his hip and laid on the floor for 4 hours with his phone in his pocket.
Yeah,
until
he didn't want to call
crawl
anyone.
to his tractor and then sat at home like 2-3 more days before he finally came over and carried him to the car.
Yeah, we had to carry him to the car. And that was interesting, hearing a grumpy old 70-year-old cussing your way out all the way out the door. And I'm just like, okay. And the funny part was we had the x-rays done and everything. And so I take him to, at the time it was in Warsaw, MedStat or whatever. And they pull him out in a wheelchair and the doctor comes over to me and goes, "Are you his son?" I was like, "Unfortunately." And he goes, "You're taking him right over to that hospital. We're having someone follow you. He is not allowed to get out. He is not allowed to run. You are not allowed to take him home. Take him straight there. He's getting his hip replaced." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow, because it was that bad.
And it was COVID time, so I literally dropped him off at the ER door and said, "Okay, I'll see you later," and drove off.
Oh my gosh. Tell you what,
But he was 70?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, 76 when he passed, 74, 76.
Oh, so yeah. So see, the old farmer life did him good. He went to 76.
Yeah. His mom was even older. She was in her 90s. And
whoa.
Yeah, she was old.
You guys celebrated her 100th.
We didn't make it.
100th?
We didn't make it to 100th.
Oh, I thought.
Nah.
Wow.
Good genetics right there.
Yeah. What's the oldest person in your family that's lived?
I think my dad lived till 70, maybe.
What about you?
My grandma is 83, 84.
84, I think.
And still kicking.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had a grandpa that passed away at like 95 or 96, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of the walkers
Genetics
too.
ain't on my side. I never knew my grandparents. My kids now have no grandparents.
Right.
You know, at all. So like time.
That's wild.
Genetics is not, but
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, I don't really.
I married into a family that at least has some longevity.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, I never knew my grandparents.
You never did?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
That's your
wow.
grandma.
Yeah, my grandma. Yeah, my grandma, and she was a hard lady. Let's put it that way. She was. You know, like the old farm men had the old farm women.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was very much, she hand cooked everything, which she was a great cook, but you outspoke at her table, you were getting a spoon.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
A spoon?
Oh,
You never got whacked with a wooden spoon?
No.
She was
My
harsh,
mom
man.
used to carry him in the car.
In the
Like-
car?
So she would have stacks of them.
Oh,
Like
Gosh.
there's probably 5 or 6, 7 wooden spoons
Oh, my
in
gosh.
the car. And I mean, like if you said something to backtalk her, she'd grab that wooden spoon
See, that's why
and
the
break
kids
it
today.
over whatever piece of your body that
Yep.
it hit. Could have been your face. Could have been your arm. Didn't make no difference.
Oh my
I can remember
gosh.
seeing stars.
Are you serious?
I mean,
Different
she ain't
parenting.
having it. Like, he ain't back.
Do you think that
talking
did you
mom.
good though?
Listen, I still say part of the problem is, yeah.
Do you think it did you good though?
Yeah. I mean, the funniest thing is that when Brady was born, the one thing that my mom said to Sherry, she's like, listen, because Brady was a crazy man.
Really?
Like, I mean, the kid would walk down the trailer. Like, we lived in a trailer. You know how it's that cheap molding on it? Like,
No.
he would just rip it right off the wall.
Oh,
Jeez.
when you could tell him not to, and he would just
Sherry
do
would be
it.
nursing Lexi. He'd walk up to a table and look over at her and smile and go,
Are you
clear
serious?
the whole table.
Oh, boy.
I mean, just,
my gosh.
yeah, strong-willed.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any, again, I don't think kids should have respect.
Yes.
And they should learn respect.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that too many times today, kids are not punished
Mm-hmm.
for the right things.
Right.
You know, disrespecting your mother,
Yeah.
you need your butt whooped.
Yes.
Because it just, again, treating your sister in a way that's
Absolutely.
not right. I just think it adds to this whole like treating of women. I think it
Yep.
just keeps going out and out. I think you don't have any respect anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can't respect your mother, are you really going to respect another woman?
No.
I mean,
That I've always been told that, like growing up too. Like whenever you go on dates and stuff to see how they treat the mom, and then everybody else that's a female in the house. It's true.
I don't know. I mean, again, I obviously would never advocate abuse, and I don't think abuse is right. That's not what I'm saying.
No, we know.
But I am
But spanking, is that
Listen,
okay?
I mean,
it says it in the Bible.
so when Life Church Bluffton did a series on spanking,
that. You saying that, yeah.
they took a doll up there, handed out paddles.
That's right. That's right.
Really?
With,
There
with
was
the
a
logo on
box
it.
With the look.
With the logo on it.
There was a box of like when you left,
Yeah.
there was a box of paddles, and they handed them out at the door as you left.
Oh, that's a scared straight program right there.
I know.
Awesome.
And again, he would say, because again, let's just say you're going back to the original design.
Right.
Like, Scripture is really clear: spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah.
You know, that there is a sense of, I'm getting in trouble for saying this, a sense of physical discipline that's not bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, not every kid gets time out and gets it,
No.
right? Not every kid that makes sense to, you know? And so essentially, Rick Fichter took a baby doll, had it up on stage, showed you how to, listen, I'll tell you another thing. You want to tell you something? Wait a second.
Wait, what did he do with the baby doll?
Listen to me.
No, please finish it.
I'm going to.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, there have been, like, you ever have these like markers in your life that have transformed things?
Yes,
So
many.
here's one of them, right? So Crown Financial, which we're going
Okay.
to get into, that was a marker that changed my life. That service
The baby doll.
changed our whole home. And here's the reason. My father, and I, again, you know how the sins of a father are passed on to
Yeah.
the sins of a child. My father disciplined out of complete rage
Oh.
Yup.
and anger. So it was never controlled. It was flat out blackout
That's
anger.
scary.
Well, I mean, that's just a
Yeah.
lot of men. I mean,
Yeah.
and I grew up that way.
Yeah.
And again, so with my kids, you hold it in, you hold it in, and you hold it in, and then all of a sudden you're just about ready to blow a cork, right? And when you blow a cork, it's bad because
Yeah.
then you discipline out of rage. And so the paddle illustrate. Well, here's what he was telling you, right? Like, by doing it with a paddle and not with your hand, right? It takes you some time. Go to your room, stand over here, grab the thing, bend over. I'm not going to, because again, I mean, there were some times where you miss with your hand and you hit places that, I mean, your butt has padding on it for a reason. Part of the reason your butt has padding on it is to get whooped there.
Not everybody's butt has padding.
Okay.
though.
There's some extra padding there.
Yeah.
So if you miss and you hit them on a leg or they're swinging around, you know, you're trying to spank them, and it turns into craziness.
Yeah.
Where he just taught, like, this is the way it works. Like, calm down, get the paddle, tell him this is the way it is. You're going to get 2 swats. Hold on. Why are you laughing?
But with the logo on it? Like
It didn't have a logo on it.
Oh, it didn't?
No, it didn't have the logo on it.
Oh, why did I
Ours,
always thought
as
it
soon
did?
as we got it, Isaac got it. Was the first one to get it. So Lexi
man.
drew his picture. We still have it. When Lexi was a little girl, she drew a picture of Isaac on it crying.
Oh my God.
So it's on
That's
there.
awesome.
No, there wasn't a logo, but again,
You need to give that to his kids.
so is it wrong?
Yes.
Like back to is it wrong to
No.
teach traditional teachings out of Scripture and do whatever you want with it? You didn't have to take the paddle.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to any of it. Just like you don't have to be a man and you don't have to be the woman that God designed. You don't
Right.
have to do any of it. But I think we're so afraid to say, like traditionally,
Yeah.
why would it say spare the rod, spoil the child? Why would it tell you that, and again, families can make their own decisions, and again, I do think it's different if you have people who have grown up with abuse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think you got to take all of those things into consideration because I'm not just making these blanket statements that it works in every scenario, because kids that have grown up in abuse and you take them in as foster kids, you take them in as adopted, you can't do those things.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
there are triggers and
Yeah.
things that just can't be done. But in a general terminology, teaching respect and especially making sure that boys
Yes.
respect their mother.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, yesterday. So Mondays are typically my day off. And so I binge watched on Hulu. It's called The Parent Test.
I've been
seeing previews. I finally
Yes.
watched it, but it takes all these different parents with completely different parenting styles. And they do different tests with the kids to see how those parenting styles work out, if they're actually effective or not or whatever. Well, one, I didn't know there were so many different parenting styles.
No, I know.
I know.
Insane how many. There was 12 different.
12 of them.
But they talked about spanking and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. So it just made me think yesterday. I'm like, what kind of parenting style do we have? And so I texted Richie. He's like, winging it. And I was like, winging it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
true,
what
man.
were did they find out? Did you watch enough of it to see which one was the most?
No, because I watched all that was available and it's not
Oh.
done. So then they pick 3 to move on, and then they keep going
Okay.
until they have the finals. I don't know.
Are they only doing one show at a time? Or are they doing a couple?
I
When
think
they
it's
put
just
it out.
one at a time because it's on
That's
Hulu.
so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so then it just got me thinking, what is a true, what does the Bible say about being a parent? What is the biblical way of being
Yeah.
a parent? And so I've been kind of,
Wonder
Did
what
you
they would
notice any of
classify that
those? Watching them and notice that they would be the most biblical ones?
there was a couple that mentioned that their morals and values were important,
Mhm.
the traditional one, and then the strict parenting. And they said they're strict in their morals. So the
They're the
respect
Jews.
and
They're
The Jews.
They are Jews.
Oh, you
Jewish.
know?
They're a
the
Jewish company.
traditional,
Really?
the traditional
Oh,
is the
okay.
Jew.
I
Jewish
just thought it was a
family.
joke.
I thought so
they're
too.
Yeah, no,
Jewish.
they're Jewish.
Oh,
Yeah.
He
okay.
brings it up. He brings up the whole idea. Because I'm fascinated by watching the show.
It is. It's
I mean, it looks really good. So
Yeah.
you've seen the first episode?
I've seen a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is interesting. But there weren't any that I thought were straight biblical.
So nobody's Christian. There's not a Christian.
Well, the one
Parent-
family
or
that's
family?
the farmers,
The naturalists.
natural families.
You think they're
I
the Christians?
Well, again,
They've
Natural.
mentioned, that they're Christian.
Natural.
Yeah.
Everything they do.
Like
no,
food and
more
stuff?
of letting the child go as almost kind of child led, but more of not pushing them to do things that they're not ready for yet, how they're naturally growing and progressing.
Is that the one that
Okay.
jumped off the diving board and he's like, "Do you want me to do it?" He's
no,
like, "Yeah."
that was the
the routine?
I don't know. He seemed like he had an
Spoiler alert.
accent.
She whiz.
But the thing of it is, and this is back to, we're so far away. We had this discussion in men's group last night
Oh God.
because we're talking about this whole idea. So here's a biblical view of a man, but we are so far. I mean, most men, not only is this foreign, they've never seen it.
Right.
Right? It's hard to even grasp a picture. Because people might have some pretty good attributes of it, but to see it lived out in design like it is, hard to see it. Well, it's
Yeah.
the same thing as for a woman and the same concept for you know, the idea of being a parent, like putting it all together, like what does that look like? You know, like going back even to the ideas of, so as a man, you know, the responsibility of raising a boy and the responsibility of raising a girl, like to say to a mother today, you need to teach your daughter how to cook. You need to teach your daughter how to clean. You need to teach your daughter and boys, you need to teach, you know, dads, you need to teach your boys how to do physical labor and you need to teach them like, that's not taught.
No.
And if you say
it's sexist, that's what people would say.
No,
like with the women, I think.
Yeah,
like
no,
teach them
if
to
I,
cook and
if
clean.
I would say, like, listen, a woman's job is to teach your daughter to be a housewife.
You would be lit up. Which is probably what's going to happen.
I am
you
going
are
to say
going to be lit up.
I am going to say
are.
it.
Yes, you are.
I am going to say it. I mean, because again, whether you choose to do it or not,
Right.
that's not up to me. But if biblically, the woman is supposed to take care of the home.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's just the way that it works. And again, you can work it out however you want. It's not for people that aren't doing it. It's not like shame on you. The
You're
point
right.
just is that this is what it says. So for me, you got to just navigate it then. You got to talk about it. You got to discuss it and you got to figure out what works for you. But we can't not say what scripture
Right.
says.
Right.
And scripture would say the role of a woman is train up her daughters. Like
Right.
that's what train up other women.
I mean, doesn't that feel natural? Like, I mean, you have a son, but doesn't like doing the housework and the role of being a wife, like, doesn't that come naturally to you?
Now, so more than when we first got married. I think like college and stuff, I was more of the like, you're not going to tell me I'm submissive. like-
Really?
and then
She was
now,
a spitfire, man.
yeah, I'm like, I'm independent. Like, and now we joke, he's like, you used to be
Yeah,
independent.
Miss
and I'm-
Independent. You can't do nothing without me.
Really?
But now I tell him it's like, if I had to do it myself, I could, but I
Yeah.
don't need to because I depend on you.
Yeah.
So my mindset has changed a lot.
Wow. How did it get there?
See, but I think this is the crazy piece. And yeah, we'll get like, how do you get to that point? But this is the other thing we talked about. And Nick and I were talking about it in the, like preparing, because we're kind of preparing for what we're going to talk about when it comes to women, because that's going to be the worst.
Yeah, it is.
For a man teaching on
it
a
is.
woman first, like that's already hard. But I said the desire of every man is to be the king. Right? You were in the meeting. Like the desire for every man is to be the king. Part of being the king is having a wife that depends on you. Like that makes us feel like it's important. Like again, it's not that a woman can't be independent. Like she can be. She has all of the tools to be independent. But God calls her to be dependent because that to her husband is helping.
Right.
Oh, it's,
You know,
it's a
helping.
game changer.
It
Yeah.
is.
It,
When
like,
a man feels like he's like my wife needs me, it changes the whole perspective.
yeah. It like, especially when we had our breaking point, like financially, I was like, I'm not doing enough. And there was a point where I had lost my job and my wife was working, and somehow we got through that period of our life for like 6 months. I have no
Wow.
idea
I
how.
don't know how we did that.
And
God.
yeah. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And you know, it was a huge game changer. And then once I finally stepped into that role, she immediately came up and was just like that support beam that's always there. Like, yeah, we talk about the hard stuff. Like, and that's one thing I love about our relationship is Jess and we talk about all the hard things. Like I am not bashful. I'm very blunt. I'm very non-emotional. I don't really care about feelings. And so
He's gotten better.
I have gotten
I
better.
didn't know before, but I don't think you're.
They are
that.
learned traits. I know how to turn it on and off very
okay.
well.
He's not a psychopath.
Okay, good.
That is one of those traits, but
Anyway. Yeah, but no, like I'm very blunt. I'm very like, this is how it is. What are you have two options, which like I think we should go here, and she'll spit her argument. But in the end of the day, I feel like she 100% agrees with me. Like she'll support me, I support her, and we move in the direction together, whatever that decision is.
That's amazing.
But wouldn't you agree, Richie, that there's something about having a wife, again, and I mean, I don't want to understate this. Women do have all of the abilities to be independent.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Right.
Because I said this, like, so you want to know like why most second marriages don't work? Right. This idea is so for a woman when she's first married and this, you know, you're in this relationship and you learn to become dependent, but then you get hurt. right? That you get a divorce because dependence didn't work, and but you usually like, I can't get out because I do depend on him now, right? So there's this.
Yeah.
So once a woman finally gets to the place where she's experienced independence, like she gets out of a relationship and gets a divorce and finds out that she can support herself and she can take care of kids and she can do, it's hard to revert back to, oh, I'm going to be dependent on a man again.
Really?
Why? Well, I mean, think about this. Look at you, Miss Independent.
Right.
So do you think it's going to be easy for you to go into a situation and become dependent on a man?
Well, no, but we're talking in the perspective of somebody that was so independent or dependent on somebody and then not.
And then they get their independence, right?
Right.
So then they get, I don't need a man.
Yeah.
I don't have to ask a man. I can go out and do whatever I want.
Yep.
And
Because
they probably have that like sour taste, from the bad experience from the first one.
Right.
Don't know why I would need one.
Yeah, why would
They're
I
going to hurt
depend
me
on?
anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
because
burned
again,
ones.
they do prove, I mean, if they go out and do it on their own, it proves you can do it on your own.
Oh, yeah.
There's never a question of whether or not a woman has the capability to go out there, pick up the slack, make the money, do the things that need to be done, raise the kids. Like they have that. But I think the thing that they miss is that, but essentially what you're doing when you have independence, right? Can I say it on maybe I should try it out on the podcast first.
Just do
whether
it.
or not I say it.
Just say it. Do
This
You're
it.
going to get in trouble anyway. Who cares? That's what we get off to every single sermon lately.
So
I'm going
I
to get in trouble for
said,
this.
when a woman is essentially independent, doing her own thing, and doesn't need her husband, I mean, it essentially just chops his balls off, right? Like I'm not a man anymore,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't need me. You swoop in and take care of all the problems on your own. I could never be the man, right? And I think that's tough. As a
I'm
man.
sure.
You know, I think it's tough when your wife doesn't need you.
Well,
at
would you
all.
really be in a marriage? Like, wow, I wouldn't feel like that you were married if she was doing her own thing.
Oh, listen, Jenny, this is like 90% of marriages.
Yeah. There
Really?
are people that live completely separate lives,
Well, I
but
guess
lay in
that's
the
true.
same
I've
bed
seen
together.
it. Yeah.
Like you can directly like link that to money. Like there are so many couples nowadays that have separate bank accounts and they'll never conjoin them. Ever.
What?
They won't do it.
Like, do they share with each other though?
No.
I think it depends on the couple.
Well,
Some do.
sometimes they'll make like a joint account, but they'll still have their separate things, which makes no sense because we become one when we get married.
Right.
Everything becomes ours. There's no more mine, yours. It's ours, our problems, and that is one thing that you notice, especially in commonplace today, is it's like totally common to, no, you keep everything separate. He pays his bills, I pay my bills. We live in the same house together or apartment or whatever. But that's like,
So you split the cost
that's
between
that's
living
the
there?
new normal.
That's weird.
It's so wild. It makes no sense.
so
So
weird.
let's talk about, and again, we'll kind of keep diving into this, but the idea of, so it's good to be the man, right? And part of being the man is having a wife that'll be like, you're the man. But I think that if you would look at the majority of marriages today, men are not hearing that from their wives. Men are not hearing like, you're the man. And I'm so, I love being dependent on you and I love you taking care of me and I love you being the protector and I love you being the, that person. Would you guys agree with that? Disagree with that? I mean, you guys know a lot of people, a lot of couples.
That surprises me.
Does it?
Yeah, it surprised me when he said that yesterday because I think, like I said yesterday, I think it's personality. Like maybe I'm wrong. Like when I said how maybe it's different. Like if you've been in a relationship for a really long time, maybe you just like end up getting sick of each other and not as like telling them all the time. Cause I feel like in the beginning, you're very aware and very vocal about like how much you're appreciative of them. So like, does that stop? Is that what's happening to people?
I mean, I think with Jess and I, especially, like she knows I have flaws and she's told them once to me. And my response was, well, sorry. You married this. That was my legit response to her.
That's a great response.
That was my legit response.
That's
I was
amazing.
like, you married me and all of me. Like, get used to it. And this is a one and done thing. It ain't never coming off. And she knows, like, again, she knows I have flaws. I know she has flaws. But in the end, like, those flaws don't matter. And that's something you have to talk about. Like, you can't just go into a marriage and be like, oh, she's perfect. She's going to give me everything I want. Like, no, like, dude, she's going to fail you like a gazillion and one times a day, and it's going to be normal and you're going to be okay with it.
Right.
But it goes back to like learning sacrificial love and like learning those things of what it looks like to be a man in the house. And again, I loved on Sunday when you're like, quit blaming your dad or the role model you didn't have, like be the role model you're supposed to be. Yeah. And that's absolutely true. And I feel like that's a role that I had to step into, because initially when we got married, I was not that. Yeah. So
interesting.
Wasn't the leader in the beginning? Or whatever
I was more of a I'll lead, but if you want to do something, okay, I guess we can go that way.
Is it because that's what you were used to?
Yeah, my mom made all the decisions in our
So
house.
you were just expected that?
Yeah, I expected my dad to be like, what do you want? And then regardless of what he wanted, she would get whatever she wanted. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what for both of you guys, what was the switch that flipped?
Yeah.
Or what was was there a timing thing? Did something happen? I mean,
I feel like our relationship with God growing and like changing and looking at the Bible and what the Bible says about what men and women are supposed to be, and like really going into those roles and not just going with what the world says and what you see at the world. And I think too, like your relationship's going to go through different seasons. So that sacrificial love, it might not look the same now as it did like when Noah was a newborn, you know, like those things change and you just have to change with it. And I think, again, communicating, what are your needs? Like, are you feeling this love? Like, no. Okay. What, you know, just being open, like
very blunt
you're going to mess up
about it.
Like,
again, that's the one thing, like Jesse's very soft-spoken here, but at our house, she's a spitfire. She's
a spitfire.
Yes, I'm dead serious, because there are times when I'll be like, hey, how's your day? And she'll be like, it's bad. I'll be like, okay. And she's like, you need to ask me how it is. Okay.
Got it, girl. Just spell it out.
And sometimes as a guy, I'm not emotionally there. So I'm like, okay, like I had a bad day too, but you don't hear me crying about it. But again, that's how I am.
A lot of times I'm like, okay, I want to just vent, or I'm like, okay, I want you to fix this.
Right.
Because that's what I am. I'm a fixer.
Well, I feel like that's men in general. Like when you vent to them, I feel like they don't know what do you want me to do about it? Like, because sometimes we do just want to vent. We don't want you to fix anything. We just want to say what we have to say, but you're trying to fix it.
Well, that's something we established early on. I'm like, okay, is this a fixing problem or is this you just want to cry problem?
That's a good thing to like recommend to people.
You just got to get out of this taboo of their topics that you can't talk about even when you're married. Like, it's you talk about it. Like, it doesn't matter how hard it is, how ugly it is, how good it is. You talk about it. Like, that's the whole point of being one.
But we've said that from the beginning. Like, that's completely foreign.
Yeah,
like most couples are not talking.
It is. Yeah,
they are not talking.
Well, who was I talking to? I can't remember, but they said about the money. They said that I think it was you that told me that people, when they get married or before they get married, do not talk about finances at all.
No.
Like they do when they get married.
Yeah. Well, that usually when they have their first problem is when they start talking.
That's insane to me.
And or money fight that leads to a divorce. That's usually how it goes. Money fights, money problems are the leading cause of divorce.
This is why I'm still single. I tell everybody I have a money problem. Like, listen, I'm really bad. You're gonna have to hold me accountable.
Well, again, so were you taught from your family to be a budgeter?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
And see, there are some people that be like, you always hear I wish I would have been taught in school how to file taxes or to do budgets and stuff. I actually heard from a teacher that's like, no, like, we don't have time to teach that. That's literally an at-home thing you should be learning from your family.
Yeah.
Right.
And I that was the first time I ever heard that. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And then I got to thinking, like, do we show that to Noah? And at this moment, he's like 6.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He could care less what we do with this paper stuff
so
we call
cute.
money.
No, you can get, do they still have the Crown Financial Banks?
Probably.
He has like 4 different piggy banks. He has his own bank account. So
listen, when I was like younger, we would have checks. So I would write out, I would have like my account. So I guess I did like budget kind of, but I would do the check. Like if we go to McDonald's, I'd make the check out to my mom and then balance the checkbook. So yeah, I don't know what went wrong
So
in
you
my
know
life.
how to track your expenses.
Yeah.
Just do that.
I know how to do it. I just don't do it.
Yeah, back in the day when we
there's
were
a
raising the kids, they had the Crown Banks. So it's always 10, 10, 80, you know, so it's like 10 to the church, 10 for savings.
Right, I had
and
time
living.
too.
So there was a bank that had like a church steeple and then a
That's
like
cool.
a bank on it and then a house.
Mm-hmm.
And so you put it, every time you got paid, you put it in your bank. We did it with the kids when they were way little.
That's fun
so that
too.
they can be like,
yeah.
okay, 10, 10, 80, 10, 10, 80. Because
Yeah.
I think that principle's taught anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like you could do that. I would challenge like adults to do that now.
Yeah.
Which is
Try to
crazy.
do it. Try to do it, and immediately they'll be like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's foreign.
Yeah, it's completely foreign.
Yeah. And you're saying that people don't talk about money when they're younger or they're first in their finances. That's why we always have them do a budget now. Whether they ever end up doing it or following through with it, I mean, we make them bring a budget.
But I mean, it's just talking about it and at least talking about it instead of being like surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting to the point where they're like, oh, yeah, I thought we were fine.
Oh gosh, I hated that conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I thought
What?
everything was good.
That's conversations Jessica and I had before she was on board. She was like, "Oh, I thought we were fine." I'm like, "Honey, I've been so stressed, and I've been making ways to pay for things that you want to keep you happy." And I thought
she
that was
didn't
funny.
know.
Yeah. No, she had no idea.
Did you
And
think
then,
that she did know? Like, did you assume? That
I
she
mean,
knew?
I always had. Way to make an entrance, Tammy.
Whoa!
That is Tammy Drum coming into the
Oh, with 2 drinks.
Let's
two
go.
drinks.
2 drinks. Where's the third one?
What just happened here? Is this like
Thank you.
So much love.
Tammy.
is this telepathic or what?
Tammy, we were supposed to leave Mike out. You didn't tell me what you wanted. Well, you should have just made me one. This was the plan.
I already know how I fit in the
We
whole
were going to
order.
leave you out, too. It was going to be so
said.
funny.
No, I know how
Made with
I know
love.
how
Thank you,
Tammy
Tammy.
goes.
She even put a heart on it.
She did.
We're
so
chopped liver.
Tell me about, because we're already 50 minutes in.
Oh,
Yeah,
whoa.
it's great.
Let's talk about growing up. Like faith, how important was faith when you guys were, I mean, I'm pretty sure for your family when they were on, they, talked about that, but Richie, I
Yeah.
don't have any idea about,
Yeah,
did you grow up with it being important?
No, I just so happened to be with some friends in like middle school, high school that were their family kind of talked about it. And that was the only thing I heard about it. Like there was one time someone told me that God was three people. And I remember looking up at them and being like, what? And just like walking away. I was just like, all right, that's just some weird guy. Like, it's fine.
So
Like,
as a family, you didn't go to church?
no, I remember my mom tried to drag us to church like a couple times,
Right.
like when we were really young, and it just never stuck.
Yeah.
And my dad was forced, like drug to church by his mom and dad when he was a kid.
So he
and
didn't want that.
He didn't want to touch the church.
Yeah.
And so,
So then you chose a Christian college.
yeah, because I was following a girl that I wanted to marry. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Not me.
Not her.
me.
When did this come into the story? You went
now.
where?
Yeah.
now.
No,
You
so,
went to HU?
no, I went to Grace.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
you
went to
did?
Grace.
Yeah. Grace College. Yeah. Big bubble.
That's funny though, because you were doing that to follow her and then you met you.
Yeah. So I literally.
At Grace?
Yeah, we met at Grace, and I went because I was following some high school drama like thing that I was like, oh, I'm totally gonna marry her. This will be fine, whatever. We had been best friends all through high school. She crushed my hopes and dreams, dumped me instantly.
By Thanksgiving?
Instantly?
Oh, yeah.
By Thanksgiving.
The turkey drop.
got turkey drop.
The turkey drop.
Turkey drop.
Yeah, once you get to Thanksgiving,
then-
you're out.
And then as that happened, actually, I think it was like right before college started that she dumped me. Or maybe it was like a week or two in. Anyway, so I literally am sitting in my room moping, and my friend, my roommate at the time, who was my best man at my wedding, he goes, "Hey, dude, they're giving free pizza down at the lake. Like, you want some?" And I was like, absolutely. That would totally bring my spirits up. And so we get down there.
Pizza.
Free pizza.
Free
I'm a
pizza.
poor college kid. I'm like, all right, free pizza. We get down there, and it's this like serve event, the big church, like go out and serve your community, like
Oh my gosh.
all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, like as long as I get a free piece of pizza, like I'm just gonna bolt and leave. Like who cares? I get there and they're like, yeah, you have to join a group and like sit and talk in order to get pizza. So I picked the smallest group, and that's when I met my wife. And I looked
Because
at
you
her.
were going to that church or you wanted free pizza?
No, so it was like serve groups to you do throughout the year.
throughout the college. So
like
they
different
partner with people or
in the
organizations. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I literally sat down across from her, looked at her, and I just knew, I was like, I'm going to marry her.
Like,
I did
isn't that
not feel the
crazy?
same.
You didn't have.
No, she turned me down. Get this. She
I
turned me
thought he
down
was cute when I
3
first saw him,
times.
but-
How
Turned me
many?
down 3 times.
Turned you down?
Three
Three times.
times.
And now look where you are.
Right.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Yes, he's got you.
Yes.
But the funniest part was she went home. I think it was that fall break. And she was telling her mom about me. And what did you describe me as? I forget. What was it?
Annoying, immature. I was
Annoying,
never gonna
immature
date
chicken
him.
farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty much. And then there was another. So so I met her then. And then we started dating like after freshman year, and homegirl right before we started dating got me to go. She's like,
Homegirl.
she goes, oh yeah, let's go work at this church down in Bedford, Indiana together. Summer camp.
Aw.
Okay.
And that's like 4 hours away. Do you guys know that?
No.
It's like forever away.
It's
Yeah.
like southern,
Damon Bailey.
southern.
No.
It's close to
No,
Bloomington.
I don't know what that is. Oh, it's
Yes.
close to Bloomington.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't know
South
who
of
Damon
Bloomington.
Bailey is?
No. Should I? Do you guys?
No.
Okay, good.
You know who Damon Bailey is?
Okay.
Well, I'm glad he does.
He was a
You got a
star
friend.
at Indiana and came from Bedford.
Oh,
And
okay.
No.
everybody loved Damon Bailey.
So he's a singer?
Oh, like,
No, like
I think
IU
it's
basketball probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
got you.
Or a singer, whichever
Poor Nick.
one.
He could have done both.
Yeah.
I think
But-
he did.
Anyway, yeah. So we're like 3
So you guys
months.
went to the summer camp together?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where
So-
it just everything sparked.
No, that was where
Not
she
at
tried to.
first.
That was where she tried to end the relationship.
Really?
Yeah, she literally. We're like 2 months in, and she comes up to me at one point. And she goes, this thing just it doesn't feel right. Like it's not working. I don't know if I can I see you more as like a brother. And I literally looked at her straight face. I straight face looked at her and I said, we're not breaking up. And I turned around and walked away.
You got the friend zone? Like you feel more like a
No,
friend?
I straight up denied it. I was like, we're not breaking up. And I turned around and walked away from her.
Oh my god.
And then she was like, okay. Like she didn't know what to
so
do.
you took him to the camp.
Yeah.
And
To
then
break
you
up
wanted
with
to
him.
break up with him.
During the
That's-
camp, not even when it's over, like during
No,
it.
it
Were
was
you-
like the first month in.
Were you
Yeah.
having cold feet about it? Or
I think
do you
so,
think
yeah.
the devil was trying to get you guys against it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, probably both.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then I don't know, something clicked. And then 6 months later, we were engaged.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
6 months after you ready to dump him?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm persistent, man.
Well,
I tell
listen,
you that. Ain't nobody turning this guy down.
Well, I haven't figured out the whole, I still haven't figured out because I obviously, why do I say this obviously? I guess I just assumed this, that you're pursuing a relationship with Jesus. You're getting ready to get engaged to a guy that never went to church. So,
At that point, he knew God,
I knew of God.
and he
I knew how to
a-
fake Christian it.
Yeah. And he had a relationship, but it wasn't.
Grace
Was
teaches
it?
you very well all the biblical stuff. Now, this isn't against grace or anything, but you are in a bubble. And when you're surrounded
Yeah.
by Christian people that talk about Christian things all the time, you can fake it pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I knew how to throw on the mask. I knew how to be fake. I knew how to say the correct churchy words. And so I knew my way around the Bible. I knew how to get to certain spots, but
Yeah. So you
did
guys,
I care about it? No.
yeah,
at
that's
the
my
time.
point. So you get married, right? And so I'm still trying to figure out because again, as a young man, you don't usually find young men at the place where you're at today. So one, taking ownership for the faith, two, taking ownership for the family, and three, making serious decisions to set flourishing up for their home. you
Yeah.
know? So get your finances right, get
And
your stuff in order.
others.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So I
Yeah.
mean, you just usually don't see that at that kind of age. So somewhere along the line,
Yeah.
faith kicked in or clicked, or what
Yep.
was it? What was the moment that it went from, I know my way around, I can make it work, I can keep her happy,
That
to,
took a while.
Oh, wow.
That
It's,
took a while. I think when Noah was born, I realized something needed to change. And then when we went through the debt thing, when we paid off 50 grand in 15 months, I was working 2 jobs, left her literally alone with a newborn. Sorry about that, honey. I'm really sorry about that. And I pursued, I wanted to keep our family, safe and well taken care of. And I knew the verse in 2 Timothy. It's like, if you don't take care of your own house, you're worse than an unbeliever. That's what it says. And so I remember that verse, and I was like, there's something about that verse that I really need to take into account. And so I was a worker. I I tried to give her everything she wanted because I was stupid. Sorry. And yeah. And then, so once Noah was born, and then actually, I think it was like 2 years ago is the biggest shift. It's when my dad died. And I remember because, you know, everyone's like, you don't remember the baptism video? I've said this multiple times, but I remember watching my dad being lowered into the ground. And I remember like an audible voice right next to me being like, your body's no more than the dust I've formed it. Go out and do what you're supposed to do. And I thought it was my best friend because he was standing right beside me. I was like, did you say something? He goes, no. And I'm like, okay.
Say that again.
You're no more than the dust that I've formed you from. Go out and do what you're supposed to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So really changes your perspective on things when you realize everything's just going to burn up anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and again, death always brings people to a pivotal point in life.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're at a funeral, you know, fragility of life comes up, the whole like, oh, people do die and these things do happen because you get going in life so much, you don't really think about it that often.
But I also think it can do the opposite too.
Meaning?
Like it can steer you away.
When somebody dies?
Depending on where you're at in your life, yeah.
Because, like, how does it steer you away?
Like when I was 16 and my grandma died, like, I mean, I believed in God. I was raised in the church and I had somewhat, not necessarily a relationship, but it was better than what it was after the fact. But when she died, it was maybe because I didn't have a good root laid down, but it like did the opposite towards me. Like that was when I blamed God. And that's when like I didn't want anything to do with them.
And went in the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the worst part is I was such a good fake Christian at the time that my whole family is not very Christian or anything. So I ended up doing the funeral. And that was a big...
What do you mean doing it? Like speaking
I
at
used
it?
a ceremony.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I did the whole thing. And I held it together very well until the very end. And I like snapped. And it was a rough couple of weeks. I yelled at God a lot afterwards. But
yeah, I would say at that point was really when he got really serious with his faith. And it was an example for me. And so, like, I grew up in the church. I had a relationship with God, but it wasn't always necessarily my top priority. And, you know, you get busy in life, the other things happen. So, you know, it was still always there, but I didn't turn to God, you know, when I should be. And so when he really got serious, like, he set that example for me. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, I need to do that more. And
yeah, that really opened up our relationship a lot. We've gotten a lot closer since that moment.
And I feel like it's really just changed every aspect in our life. Like once you focus on God, other things kind of fall in place. We still have struggles.
A lot of them.
You know, God tests us. We don't know why he does the things he does, but.
Yeah. So since we're at the end, you know, so if you could take an opportunity to speak to, I mean, we have a pretty large audience of people that are either listening or watching. And so to young couples, young families, what advice would you give them, whether it comes to marriage, relationship, like being where you are today and the things that you went through? Would you give them any advice to say, like, here's some things, like I've heard you say different things, but maybe bring it back to, like, if you could just say a couple things to young couples or, you know, people that are out there, what advice would you give them?
I would say the most important is communicate, you know, and be honest when you're communicating. Don't just tell them what you think they want to hear or what's going to make them happy in the moment. Like, you're going to make each other mad. And sometimes you have to get mad to get to where you need to be. And so just being open and honest and talking about the, you know, the hard stuff and the fun stuff. And
good. Be a good communicator.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, feelings are temporary for now. Again, very blunt, very not keyed into my emotions. But yeah, I would definitely say, you know, have those hard conversations and the easy conversations and make it normal. Get rid of all the taboo things you can't talk about. Money, you know, and I'll even say this is like what even sex looks like as a marriage. Like, you need to talk about that because it's very important. And then also just in general, even older couples, just continuing to talk to each other and like getting to know your spouse more and more each day. Yeah. Because there are things I still don't know about Jess, and I'm excited to learn those things. And it's definitely set our relationship to a different level.
Wow, 9 years. You really don't know everything?
No, definitely not. She's probably hasn't told me something.
Wow.
Well, but I think you got to remember, I mean, I was married to Sherry for 28 years.
And you don't think you knew everything?
No, it's because the reason being it's ever evolving.
Yeah.
That's true.
So situationally, things in life bring to light things that can't be brought out when a situation doesn't bring it to. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
if you are my advice to couples all the time is be a continual learner and a continual lover. You know, if you do that and you approach a relationship being a continual learner, I just want to get to know you. I want to keep understanding you situationally when these because again, it's phases and it's different and we react different. So I just want to continue to learn you.
Yeah.
And I want to continue to love you because learning is loving. You know, it's very loving to a spouse to be like, I want to get to know you and I want to know how you're feeling and I want to know what's in your head and I want to know as we evolve, like as your kids get older, when your kids are younger, when your kids are out of the house, when death happens, when moments where you're struggling with God or moments where you're celebrating with God. Like you learn so much and it seasonally changes, you know, and because I think if you're growing in your relationship with Christ and with your spouse, it's ever changing, right? Like your perspective is changing.
Yeah,
Your
it's
thoughts
true.
are changing. Your heart is changing and it's ever evolving. And, you know, my prayer for every young couple is the same thing. When I'm done doing marriage counseling, I say at every one of the weddings, the greatest gift that you could ever give to me is that you're still holding hands, sitting on a bench, loving each other when you're 80 years old.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
Best
that's
friends.
learning and
Yeah.
loving.
That's
right?
true.
Because it continues to change. And when I see couples like that, I'm like, that's what I want. I never want that. That shouldn't just never go away.
No.
And it's always, if you're going to continue to learn and continue to love, to go down that road.
Good advice.
Absolutely.
All right, questions. Did you have any?
Question time. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Got a theme song yet for this part?
Bust them up. What?
You need a theme song for the question part.
Oh my gosh. We do. Like when I had one for What's the Weather? That one. And I'm not going to even try to sing it right now.
No,
My
I think-
voice
go
sounds
for it.
raspy.
Go for it, Jen.
What's the weather?
Like Amy Winehouse. Remember? Never mind.
Who's Amy Winehouse?
Really? Now I'm going to make me go to rehab. And I said, no.
Man, Richard, do you know what she's talking about?
It's a real song. You tried to make me go to rehab. And I said, no.
What is she?
no.
Like, is she a
Well, she passed away.
Singer?
Yeah, she passed away.
Because she didn't go to rehab.
Was she a singer? It still doesn't change
What did
the
you just
question.
say?
I'm really sorry.
What did she just say? What did she say?
Don't make me feel bad. Will you do the questions?
Might have
'Cause
to
now I
cut-
agree.
cut
Wait, he
that
doesn't.
part.
What did she just say?
It was a joke.
She said she
No, can we
passed
just?
away because she didn't go to rehab.
Oh,
Jenny!
that's
That was
rough.
the song, though.
Jenny, did she die of drugs?
Yes, that's why.
wow.
Stop! Don't make me.
I didn't know this. So this was a lady
It
that
was her
struggled with
words.
drugs.
It was her word. I can say it, yeah, because I've struggled from drugs.
No, I know. Was she a
None of you
comedian or
can say
something?
it.
Was she on
That you know
Saturday
of.
Night Live or something?
I don't know.
No, she was just a singer. Like that was one of her hits.
Yeah,
She
she's
was
pretty
really famous?
Yeah, that was one of her.
That was one of her hits. You tried to make me go to rehab, and I said no.
Yeah.
That's
And
why.
Jenny just says you died because of it. Oh.
I like the remix. It's got a good ring to it.
Whatever.
Okay,
oh
is
my
Nick doing the
gosh.
questions or you?
No, he doesn't have a mic. Remember,
But he's loud.
but he is loud. Okay, here we go.
We've established a lot.
Question number 1 is from Corinne Bates.
Oh boy.
She wants to know, what were your max bench presses?
What?
Nah, for real. These
This
people
just
are
happened?
amazing and great encouragers.
It
Blessings.
did just happen. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
couple weeks
What's the
ago.
joke from it?
It's because we really I like really working out. And ever since Dad died, I've been very much like, I don't care about your feelings. I'm going to tell you the truth, especially with my family. And they're getting used to that. And I'm trying to be a little nicer about it. And so I've got them coming to work out a lot at Champs. And so I always text everyone on the group chain. I'm like, hey, like today is max day for squats.
Today is?
Today is max
Tuesday.
day. Today is max day, shooting for 300.
Yeah.
So
Whoa.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
That's exciting.
Wow.
Last Tuesday was max for
bench.
Or
No,
two
two Tuesdays ago.
Yeah.
And I got
Wow.
255. 255.
Wow.
Good for you.
You got what?
Wow.
80.
Wow.
85
For
Oh.
bench?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, you're strong.
That's awesome.
My wife's a
I
hoss,
was
dude.
surprised too.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
She's strong, man.
All right, Nelson Little, what
boy.
is your favorite drink at the cafe? I think he would be talking to you. And what is one thing that you could easily spend too much money on? Video games, comics, shoes, drugs, etc.
That's Nelson's thing. Nelson's thing is comics.
Is it really?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
but we missed the part that he said shoes and drugs.
Here's the funny thing. I tell Nelson's story all the time.
Yeah.
So when we were doing Nelson and Charity's budget, when I did their thing, so we went and got their budget
Oh,
and brought them back
gosh.
together and like, dude, we're in the red. And I'm like, well, what are some things you can cut out? And Nelson's like, well, I'll tell you the things we ain't cutting out. My chew and my cigarettes.
Oh my
He smoked and chewed.
Wow.
He's like, I'm telling you what we ain't cutting out. He's like, we can get a little
my
less on the
gosh.
grocery budget, but we're not cutting those
That's
things
some
out.
foundations right there. I'll tell you what.
That's hilarious.
My butt off because it was like, this ain't gonna work. He's like, well, we'll make it work, but
Yep.
I'm
Oh
not
my
cutting out
gosh.
chewing or smoking.
That's
which I don't think he
dedication.
smokes anymore. So
I don't think he
No.
does either.
yeah, I think
No.
he just chews. So.
Yeah, that's
Look at that.
hilarious.
Gave up cigarettes.
Good job.
Sorry, that was
That's awesome.
That was funny.
Sweet.
Okay, but yes, the question, what's your favorite drink? We'll start here at the cafe.
Well, my favorite one to make is the iced caramel apple chai because I get to use the margarita shaker.
Ooh,
So that's fun.
yes.
I knew you were a bartender.
I thought you were gonna say the zebra, since your husband is a zebra.
Dang.
Wait, what?
Straight-
What you mean?
Yeah, that's a high school
Rochester.
mascot.
Yeah, the
Zebras.
Rochester
What?
Zebras.
We got a strong
You were
back kick.
the mascot? Oh, you're just making fun of him. Okay, I didn't
Not
know if
making
you.
fun. Rochester
No, I didn't know if you went.
Zebras.
You put the suit on or something.
No,
No.
that's just their.
No, that was for cool kids.
Yeah.
Really? Not Huntington.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
Rochester has a big backing. They have a lot of good
It's a really
fan base.
small town that
It's
probably.
a small town full of
Yeah.
rich farmers, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your family's a farmer.
So margaritas.
Really?
That's your favorite drink.
Margaritas.
margaritas. Yes.
Alcoholic.
What's your favorite one that you like to drink?
It used to be the Snickers. I still like it, or the caramel apple chai. But I just tried the London Fog for the first time, which is like our number one
For the
seller.
first time?
I always thought I didn't like chai,
Really?
but I do in fact like chai. So
Yeah.
I like the London Fog. It's very sweet,
Oh gosh, yeah. It
so I
is.
can't have it all the time. But
Yeah, the London Fog was my family's.
I
like
love
all
the
the
London
girls
Fog.
would get London Fog.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it's very popular.
Yeah, after learning what it is, I'm like, where's the coffee part?
It doesn't-
Oh, that's
some
not
people
coffee,
do get a
it's
dirty
tea.
London Fog.
Yeah.
And they put coffee in it.
Dirty chai.
Like the 1% coffee compared to the 99% sugar and milk.
That's the way it should be.
No.
Yes.
agree.
Black coffee all the way.
I like a little bit of coffee with my sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
black coffee all the way.
Absolutely. It's all about moderation.
What was the other question?
The other one was, and what is the one thing that you could easily spend too much money on?
Going on vacations is my wife's. My wife already has planned a spring break trip. You have, what else do you have planned?
I'm going to a spa
A spa.
this month.
Yeah,
But that's
in
for
February.
my cousin's birthday. So
Okay.
But it's like one of those fancy spas.
Are you going to Woodhouse?
French lick.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it sounds stupid
It
expensive,
sounds
right?
like the mountains.
It's very
Mountains? It sounds like some French guy licking your face.
French
What are you
Lick is a
talking-
mountain.
French Lick is not a
Yes,
mountain.
it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
The French Lick.
French Lick is not a mountain.
like French Alps.
Yes,
or
it
something.
is.
do you know
No, I
what? Do you know
promise.
who's
French
from
Alps?
French Lick?
What?
You know
Ew.
who's from French Lick?
Is that a town?
Larry Bird.
Okay, so
Okay, yeah,
that's
he-
what I meant.
Yeah. okay.
No, you said it's a mountain. That's actually not
very
what you
different,
meant.
very different.
That's not
Really-
what you meant.
Really
But
close
it's a
though.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was something.
Yeah, no, it just sounds silly. And then I have a friend out in Washington who's getting married, and I was like looking at the cost and everything. She's like, we could totally do that. I'm like, no, it's like $1,000 a ticket round trip. I'm like,
Wow.
no. And that's without
You could
car
drive.
and stuff. That's what I said.
Yeah,
And
maybe
she's
like 20
like,
hours, 25.
26, I think, if
It's a
nonstop.
long way.
That's fun though. You make it a road trip.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
My
yes.
wife can't do that in a car.
You can stop at all
No,
the gas
nope,
stations.
no.
If we had
Nope.
like
sightsee.
2 weeks,
I love a
Nope.
good road
like
trip.
2 weeks
Nope.
to do it, okay.
Yeah.
But I
But-
don't want to like drive out, spend a day or two, and drive back.
Yeah,
That's
like
annoying.
that's too
Literally,
much.
our
But if we can
sightseeing
take
would
our
be
time, like
taking pictures from the road. Like,
That's true.
hey, I ain't paying for this. Snap your screenshot. Let's
Yeah.
go.
So do you like vacations?
We did them as a family, but we didn't really I don't really enjoy them. I prefer just
We
to,
don't really do them now. I have
Yeah.
to
yeah, she really fights me on it.
Really?
Yeah. It's
I'll go on
unfortunate.
vacation with you.
Jess, I'll give you
Aw.
some give
You
you,
can
some
pay for it
advice
too.
from a man who was like Richie, who said,
Oh.
"We ain't going. I never did it. We didn't grow up with it. We can't afford it." From that, I'll give you some advice. Stick with it, because the one thing that my kids shared the most about when Sherry died wasn't the everyday things. It was the moments
Memories.
that you
what I
went
say.
away
Yeah.
and you did, that things that happened there stuck with those kids more than anything else. So keep
Yeah.
fighting for it.
Yeah.
Because I was just like him. I didn't grow up. I could stay at home. I don't need to go anywhere. And I
Exactly.
have to be reminded of this because now Sarah, my new wife, is like, oh, I could just stay at home.
Really?
And I'm like, yeah, me too. But then I'm like, that's not fair. Like, she's never been anywhere.
She hasn't?
No. Like, nowhere.
Really?
Like, I think she said her honeymoon, and then, like, maybe they went to Florida.
Uh-huh.
Well, we went to Florida on spring break. but
Right.
Other than that, like, not been anywhere.
Wow.
And so, like, we just decided that we're going to go out west over the summer.
Oh, how much
That's awesome.
fun.
And again, I would just as easy stay home. I
Yeah.
mean, I could just
Straight
have
up.
as much fun staying home.
Really?
That's why you bought a house, is to live in it.
Yes.
Not to have fun in it.
But it
like-
was a fight.
Like that kind of fun.
But it
like
was a
sightseeing.
fight for us and our family. It was a fight between Sherry and I because I'm like, so much money. I don't want to be gone from work. I have to take vacation.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to get caught back up as a farmer
It's rough.
when
I couldn't
you know,
imagine.
when you're trying to get back. But she kept fighting for it, and I'm really glad she did because for our family, it was a game changer.
I'm not anti it. Like,
No, I didn't mean you
she's
were. And you might-
100%. She's 100%. She's going on with like spring break. I obviously can't get off since I just started a new job, but she's going with her family down to Tennessee, and I'm like, all right, have fun. Bye.
fun.
Like, I'll miss you, but like straight up, I really don't care.
Either way, that's just our experience. And I know I was
Yeah.
I would rather stay home. I said the same thing. Isn't
Yeah.
that why we built this place? And then why we
Literally.
have a pond? And, but looking back now,
The
after all the
memories.
kids are old,
Yes.
this does
The
do
memories.
something.
Yeah.
All right.
Little memories.
Doug Bragg wants to know, and he literally said that. I wonder do I say that every time? That's so funny. Okay, what do you want to see? Wait, hold on. What do you want to do or see God do in the next year? That was confusing. What do you
All
want to see God
hard-
do in the next
Oh,
year?
you know yours?
I know mine.
Ooh.
Okay, here we go.
Oh boy, I know
Have
this
a
one.
baby.
Have a baby.
Aw.
Yep.
We've
Really?
been trying for 5 years. We
Wow.
had a failed adoption, 2 miscarriages.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
go another hour. So yeah,
Wow.
yep,
Yep.
we've been doing fertility.
We're still
stuff the
testing.
last-
We're
So
still being
prayers
tested.
for that.
Yep,
Wow.
yep. Our whole thing from the beginning is, and if not, he's still good. And I think that strengthened us as a couple and like with our relationship with God, because
Yeah, there were
it
some
was hard and
rough
don't understand.
moments.
I bet.
There were some really those are the moments where I'm like,
Wow.
guys, you need to be there for your wife. Like, you don't know what she's going through mentally. Coming from a mentally not checked in person all the time, it was hard to be like, do you just want to hug?
Yeah.
Like, me saying that to her was everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just, that was all it was.
Something
And
as simple as that.
yeah, I think that would be the biggest blessing by far. But if not,
Right.
he's still good.
he is still good.
Yeah. Good.
What about you? The same thing.
I would agree with that. That would bring a lot of joy into our lives to have another little baby. But if not, then we have another big story moving up, and that's my mom's moving up from Florida to
Oh, wow.
be acclimated to family life.
Okay.
So she's moving back up to Indiana
Gonna
and
live with us.
live
That's
with us.
exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big thing, and we talked about it a lot before we ever came to a decision. I talked to her about it. I was like, if this were to ever happen, what would you do? And I'll stand by you because I truly want to know your opinion. And yeah, so those are big things. Just that the move goes well, and that we Noah gets to spend a lot of time with his Grammy.
That's
So,
nice.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
So would you, if you had a choice, do you want a girl or do you want another boy?
she wants a girl.
A girl.
I would too.
Yeah,
You have one of each.
Yes.
I just want to dress somebody, you know?
Exactly.
Seriously.
Boy clothes are not
Gosh.
cute.
Yes.
There's not a lot of options.
I know I can't. There's not a lot of options for dog clothes. So, okay, Gina Van Meter wants to know, what does Open Hands Ministry involve? And I don't know if we touched on this really when we were talking.
Yeah. No, so Open Hands Ministry is something that I've been working on here at the church. I've just recently started it. And pretty much all it is I just sit down with people and we just go through just biblical, like a kind of like an off-brand Crown Financial. I incorporate a lot of Crown into it, and I just sit down and talk with people about, okay, what's your life look like? What does it look like? Do you do a budget? Have you ever thought about doing a budget? You know, sometimes we're talking like as basic as, you know, do you know what your money's doing when you aren't, you know, holding the card? Like where is your money? Like what's your balance on your card right now? And people can't tell me that. And that's something very important. So that's the whole point, is we're literally just living with open hands, because whatever God puts in it is what you have for the day. And it's you're stewarding his tool. And when it leaves, that's fine too. Like you need to be open with whatever God gives you and takes away.
Is this something people know about?
What?
I've never even heard of this before.
I've been spreading it around. It's literally something I started on the side.
app.
Yeah, it's on the app.
What?
And that was part of their bio that I put in.
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah,
app.
it's on the app. You can sign up
It's
for
like,
it.
Oh, there you
it's
go.
the one that has like two hands, like holding something or something like that.
Wow.
Yes,
Orange has Open Hands Financial Ministry on it. It's really great. You guys should also say hi.
Well, again, I mean, is this something we're allowed to point people
Yeah.
towards?
Yeah, because it's on the app.
Absolutely.
Okay,
It's just,
you knew
if it's
all
on the
about it.
app-
Nick and I didn't know anything about
Well,
it.
Nick did it. Nick put it on the app. So he knew. He just forgot.
oof.
Taylor probably had him do it. 'cause
That's
you were working with me.
rough, Nick. Hey.
No, I mean, again, I
hope
didn't
that
know
squat
that.
bar doesn't
that's
hurt.
awesome.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah, that's
He
right.
put so much on there.
I'm going to put like 306 pounds and watch Nick get halfway down. I'm just going to watch.
Oh, Nick's squatting tonight?
I hope so. He's been bailing on
A
us.
long time.
Come
I've been
on.
far.
Oh,
please.
No.
You do
Look at
what
those
Jeff
tree
does.
trunks.
Yeah.
Those tree trunks are like, those tree trunks are
Monsters.
Oh,
You don't have chicken legs like me.
That's what Heather said.
It's rough.
All right, last question. Robert,
Oh,
I was
gosh. Just
wondering.
skip his.
were you wondering? I
Just
saved
skip
the
his.
best for last.
Figured he had to have one in there.
Oh,
He asked to.
do you love every member of your family? If so, why not? Say it, Richard. For example, I love you, Robert. LOL.
I'm not going to say it.
Love you guys.
One, because no one says LOL, you doofus.
Richard.
To get Richie to say that he loves him.
Ever since he got into the family.
Forever.
Really?
Yeah. Homeboy's been working on it for 2 years. I just don't, like, I'm not there yet.
Homeboy, homegirl.
I'm just not there yet. I say I appreciate him.
There you
that's
go.
nice.
Hey, we're moving in the right
So
direction.
he appreciates you.
And Robert, limit your questions to one sentence. Thank you.
Yeah, you're only allowed one. And those are it.
Okay, Jenny, finish us up with the
Okay.
text.
All right. The number is 260-408-8383.
Look at you.
And that number, we send out a text every week letting you know who the guest is. And then we'll ask or give like a little bio. And then we want you to form questions from the bio because we think it's fun and we want your opinion. But besides the every week text, if you want to text in randomly throughout the week, that's fine. If you know a guest, if you want to be a guest, we just want your input.
We have some openings in March, right?
Yeah, we have openings in
great
March and April and then the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
text and fill it up.
yes. And but text podcast to that number.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. And again, so couple things. One, we'll be praying for you guys. Like I didn't know, that's something you wanted for this year. So I think we could all gather together and, prayer for you guys and, going through that. The other thing is the Open Hands Ministry. I'm like, how cool. Like I had no idea that we were, that you were doing that and what a great opportunity. So if you see, Richie, or if you even see Jess at the cafe, right?
Right.
Okay. Cause you're a pretty constant presence at the
Yeah.
cafe all the time and you want to get hooked up and want to get, set up that way. I think that's great. Cause again, I still say like Richie, money's the foundation of most problems, and if you can get some of that stuff right, getting stable, heading in the right direction, that makes a huge difference. And again, it's just, we love that you guys come on, share your story.
Thank you.
Obviously, we didn't get to a lot of different stuff. So like always, maybe we'll get you as a returning guest and being able to come on again. So to our audience, don't forget, like Jenny puts out clips during the week. So for putting out clips during the week, the best way that we can get this out is by sharing it and or commenting, so it's a great opportunity for us to get in places we don't normally get it on your timeline. And again, we just ask you to subscribe, share, comment, and that helps us get this out. So again, thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Toodles.